Today's class, you're going to need the nice, clear, open area. If you do have more than one yoga mat, throw it down. Take up space, be present, don't be shy. Again, my name's Brandy, if we haven't met or if it's been a while. And in addition to that open area, multiple yoga mats if you have them, get your pair of matching yoga blocks, your yoga belt, and some sort of padding. We're going to start down in child's pose. And I recommend being towards the back end of your mat. For this child's pose, big toes are together, knees are apart, hips are stapled down onto your heels. And if you are at the back edge of your yoga mat, you can stretch your arms out in front of you, press into the mat and back those hips up to your heels, or grab a hold of the edges of your yoga mat and press that yoga mat away to back your hips up to your heels. And this is where we're going to be. So settle in. Press those hips all the way back to your heels. And breathe. And find that breath in your back body. Breathe up and down your spine. And feel for any sore spots. Yoga. There are descriptions of yoga poses that are all about what the spine is doing. The idea that yoga starts from the inside and works its way out. There's also the idea that for a well-rounded, a balanced yoga class, you want to move your spine in the 6 spinal directions, the 6 spinal movements. One of them being a forward fold, back bend, side bend to the right, side bend to the left, a twist to the right, a twist to the left. If you devise a yoga class, moving the spine through 6 spinal directions, you have a well-balanced yoga class. So let's start with that spinal awareness. Breathe into your back body. Keeping those hips stapled back over your heels as best you can. Lift your head up. You're going to come up onto your fingertips, come up onto your claws, keeping those hips backed up to your heels. So I have to push into my hands to keep those hips backed up to my heels. You might even need to walk your hands back towards you a little bit, rounding your back. Keep those hips stapled to your heels. And then walk both hands over to one side. Doesn't matter which, pick a side, any side. And feel that spinal flexion to the side. And breathe. Now adding this side stretch to our child's pose and deep back breaths. Feel those back side ribs flare and spread apart from each other. Notice how I'm up on my fingertips. I'm still pressing fingertips into the ground, keeping those hips stapled to heels. And then walk both hands all over to the other side. And breathe. And come to neutral. Hopefully you're orienting so that you can look at the screen and not have to turn your head sideways like I'm doing. So do as I say, not as I do. I recommend you orient yourself nose towards your screen so you don't have to turn your head sideways. But this side view does illustrate what I want you to do next. You're going to be taking both hands over to one side. It doesn't matter which. You're going to keep your elbows unlocked, slightly bent. Now, whichever arm is on the outside, whichever side you're leaning towards, you're going to reach across and grab a hold of that forearm. And then pull hard, as if you're trying to unstick that hand and move it across back to center, but it's not going anywhere. Do keep your elbow unlocked. Try not to hyperextend or bend this elbow backwards. Grab a hold of that forearm and pull hard. and breathe. And feel a little bit more stretch as you pry open underneath your shoulder blade into those back side ribs. And reset and go all the way over to the other side. Do keep your elbows unlocked, reach across. So whichever side arm is on the inside is going to reach the outside arm. Grab a hold of the forearm and pull. And breathe. And reset back to center. Now, if you haven't already, I might recommend putting some padding underneath those knees. If you're going to come up, 2 hands and knees. Those knees might be a little bit bony on the floor. From hands and knees, toes can be curled under or pointed, it doesn't matter. Hands are beneath your shoulders, elbows stay unlocked. I'm going to ask you to come up onto fingertips. Keep those elbows unlocked. Inhale, head up, tail up, come into that sway back to cow. And then as you exhale, pull your tummy in, arch your back, come into that cat. Inhale, head up, tail up for cow. And exhale for cat. Moving back and forth through cat and cow. So now, you're doing your forward fold and your back bend. Definitely knocking out 2 of those spinal directions with this one simple exercise. Back and forth through cat and cow. Now, the next time you exhale, arch your back up into that cat pose. Be up on fingertips. Pull that tummy in tight. And locate your right hand. And with an inhale, sweep that right arm up and open. Follow it with your gaze. And exhale, reset. Same side, same arm. Inhale, up, up, and away. Big stretch. And exhale. 3rd time's a charm. Inhale, open, open, open. Now pull your tummy in. And as you exhale, slide that right shoulder onto the floor. Shove that right arm through. Get as much of that right shoulder blade on the floor as you can. And then tuck your chin in towards your chest. So this is your right shoulder on the floor and your right ear is swinging towards your right shoulder. If you have a ponytail in the back of your head, you want that ponytail to be touching the ground. Now, left shoulder shrugs off your face so that you can breathe. Left hand can be a kickstand. Left shoulder off your face and breathe. Breathe into those back, side ribs. Notice you're getting a rotation in the spine. So there we go. We're almost there. Moving through those 6 spinal directions. Breathing. And then pushing into that left hand, inhale, come back to center and reset. Inhale, head up, tail up, sway back to cow. And then as you exhale, come into that cat. From cat, locate the left arm. We're going to do the other side. Inhale, left arm up and open. And exhale. Again, inhale, up, up, and away. And exhale. One more time. Inhale, open, open, open. Big stretch. And then as you exhale, shove that left arm all the way through. Get as much of that left shoulder blade on the floor as you can. And then tuck your chin to your chest, putting the base of your skull, the back of your head on the ground. Left ear towards left shoulder. Right shoulder shrugging up onto your back. And you breathe. Again, that right hand can be a kickstand. Nice deep breaths. And from here, push into that right hand, unwind, come back to center. Now you have the option of repeating what we just did, moving through cat and cow a few times. Or you have your toes curled under. You can lift your hips high to the sky and turn this into a downward facing dog. So choose your own adventure. Either you're going to stay on those hands and knees, and you're going to repeat the same twist we just did, locating that right hand, taking that right hand up into the air, big inhale, and then taking that right arm underneath putting that right shoulder on the floor. If you're working the down dog, you're going to take that right hand underneath through the inside of your legs, run that right hand down the inside of your left leg, coming into a twist. Everybody's elbows are unlocked. That supporting arm, left hand on the floor, it's a kickstand. That left elbow is unlocked for everybody. Left shoulder shrugs away from your face for everybody. Everybody's breathing. And unwind. Come back to neutral. Now this does work a little better if you have your feet apart. If you are working the down dog variation, you can take your feet as wide apart as the mat even, but do keep both feet on the same surface. You're on hands and knees. You're going to locate that left hand with a big inhale, open, open, open. And then everybody's taking that left arm underneath. Left shoulder blade dips down towards the ground, maybe even comes onto the ground if you're working that thread the needle, hands and knees variation. Otherwise, that left hand is running down the inside of your right leg. Nice deep breath. Feeling a good shoulder stretch. And then unwind. Let's all come to hands and knees. Untuck those toes, big toes together, hips back over your heels. Going back to where we started. Again, you can hold on to the edges of the yoga mat and stretch that yoga mat, shoving it forward to back your hips up and breathe. You might even gather the yoga mat a little closer to you and press harder around your back more dramatically. Not about putting your face on the floor, it's about putting your hips to your heels. And breathe. Notice with a few minutes of stretching we've done already, how much more breath you can get into that back body. So please maintain this awareness of the back body, of how your spine feels, breath in those back ribs, as we all come to a downward facing dog. So with hips back over your heels, do make sure your feet are towards the back edge of your mat and your hands are on the mat with you. Fingers spread wide. Now come to hands and knees. Curl your toes under. Inhale, head up, tail up into that sway back cow. And then as you exhale, pull your tummy and arch your back for that cat. Lift your knees up and back your hips up into your downward facing dog. And in this downward facing dog, find that breath in your back body. Find that buoyancy in your back ribs. That same feeling of stretch you just had in child's pose, that fullness of breath in those back ribs. Here you are in a down dog. Imagine being able to grab a hold of the edges of your mat and shove the mat forward, stretch the mat forward, knuckles permitting, to have that same feeling of backing your hips up and breathing into those back ribs. Now, knees can be bent, heels can be lifted. Back your hips up and breathe into your back body at the same time. Nice deep breaths. Now, if your hands, your elbows, for whatever reason, down dog doesn't work for you, you can most definitely still be working this version in child's pose. It's the same thing, it's just with hips in the air. All right, rise to tippy toes. Exhale, pull your tummy in, shift your body weight forward, and set those knees down. Untuck your toes, back your hips up to your heels. And you might walk your hands back to your lap, take a few moments to roll out your wrist, watch the quick demo. This is optional. I'll give you a variation in a moment. But the more advanced version, which I'm going to challenge you to try, looks like this. In a moment, you'll be in down dog. And from down dog, you'll rise to tippy toes, shift your body weight forward, come to the top of a push-up. And then from this push-up, as you exhale, pull that tummy in tight. Reach diagonal across with your right hand to your left leg. And then shift forward. And as you exhale, shift back, switching sides, reaching towards that ankle if you dare. And inhale, shift forward. And exhale, shift back, alternating sides. And inhale, shift forward. And exhale, shift back. And when this makes sense to you and you want to join me, come on forward and work it out. Alternating sides. Now, what is the, I don't want to do that. option. The I don't want to do that option is that child's pose, walking both hands to one side and then walking both hands to the other side. Just play around with it. Either you've taken it to the next level. Here you're doing that more intermediate ab challenge, shoulder burn option, or you're just going for a nice pleasant stretch this morning. Whatever works for you. If you can breathe, I encourage you to continue breathing. Maybe even synchronize breath with movement. Again, it's an inhale forward and exhale back. And inhale forward and exhale back. I'm going to warm up those shoulders in case you haven't noticed. It is a bit of shoulder work here. And all the while, your knees can be bent, your heels can be lifted. You don't have to do this with straight legs. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're even. You've done the right side just as many times as you've done the left side. And then come to neutral and come on down. Once again, untuck your toes, back your hips up to your heels. Grab a hold of the edges of that yoga mat and stretch. And breathe. Get some breath underneath your shoulder blades. Get some breath into your side and back ribs. Yeah. Release. All right. We're going to come back up to hands and knees. Inhale, head up, tail up. And as you exhale, pull your tummy in. Good. Keep that tummy pulled in. Pick a side, any side. Let's all do this together, I guess. Put your left hand down and your left knee down and face the screen. Left hand, left knee down. That means your right arm is up in the air and your right leg is extended. And you're looking towards the screen. So far, so good, right? Big inhale. Pull that tummy in. Take that top arm alongside your ear. Whoop, and you might take that bottom foot and swing it back behind you. Put that kickstand back behind you so it's easier to balance. Now, this can be quite bony on the knee. You might need to put some padding underneath your knee. Here we are, big side stretch. Inhale. And as you exhale, drive elbow and knee together and press out all your breath. Exhale, pull that tummy in tight, crunch. Now here's your challenge. Can you pull that tummy in tight, hold it in tight, even as you stretch out again? And as you exhale, crunch, pull that tummy in even tighter. The distance between ribs and hip gets shorter. And keep it short and tight as you stretch. So keep your tummy pulled in. And exhale, crunch. And inhale, stretch. Foot can touch down. And as you exhale, crunch. And inhale, stretch. You want to challenge yourself? Well, then don't let the foot touch down. Exhale, crunch. And stretch. And exhale, crunch. And stretch. How about two more just like that? Exhale, crunch. And stretch. And one more time. Good exhale, good hard crunch. Keep that tummy strong, even as you extend out. And then, of course, touch the foot down and turn this into a big side stretch. And then round over. And let's switch sides. This is where having more than one yoga mat's nice because you can get that extra padding underneath your knee without having to tuck a pillow in there. So set up. That would be left hand, left knee down, left foot back behind you as a kickstand. I just goofed that all up. This is your left hand in the air. This is your left leg. Big inhale. Arm comes alongside your ear. Big side stretch. Let's do a little bit more abs. Inhale. And as you exhale, drive elbow and knee together. Keep that tummy strong as you stretch. And exhale. Tummy stay strong for the duration. That exhale is a chance to pull that tummy in tighter. I'm not counting. I'm concentrating on my technique more than I am on the number of repetitions here. Do a couple more of these. Again, it is a little bit more challenging if you don't let that foot touch down. Just push out through the heel and hover. Let's do one last one. Big stretch, tummy strong, side bend. Now imagine somebody came along in this position to tickle your side body. Your reaction would be to slam down and push them off. So let's come down to hands and knees. Once again, inhale, head up, tail up. And exhale, round your back. Inhale, head up, tail up. And exhale. All right. Get your toys. A couple of blocks. I'm going to put some padding underneath my knees now. And step forward with your right foot into a lunge. Right foot forward. Left knee down on some padding. Basic, simple, regular old lunge here. Toe sticking out past your knee. Shoulders shrug down away from your ears, hands on blocks. Just melting into it. Now back toes can be pointed or curled under, whatever your knee permits. But I'm going to encourage you to activate that back leg, back foot. If you have your toes curled under, you're going to press hard through the heel, almost like you're trying to lift your knee off the ground, pushing hard through the heel. That works quite well if you have padding underneath your knee. But if you don't have enough padding underneath your knee, you can disperse the weight down your shin by having the top of your foot flat on the ground. But if you have the top of your foot flat on the ground, push the top of the foot hard down into the floor, as if you're trying to lift your knee up. And then let's rock back. Heel up your toes, rock back on the heel. Keep working that back leg, either variation with the foot. Keep working it as you bow over the front leg. Working that back foot kind of shifts your attention back. And release. Let's switch sides. For mobility, challenge, try doing it without hands. Switching sides, left foot forward. Basic lunge. Whatever you want to do with the back foot, make sure it's turned on. Front foot sticking out past your knee, hands on blocks. And then rock back on that front heel, straighten the front leg, and keep working the back foot. Keep working that back leg, whichever variation you've chosen. And release. Once again, switching sides, going to take that right foot forward. Right foot forward. Nice, deep, basic lunge. Measure it off. Make sure that toe is sticking out further than any other point on your body. And you can see from this angle that I do have some width between my feet. I am not on a balance beam. I've got two separate skis pointing in the same direction. All right, you're going to back up. Walk your hands up onto your lap. That width between your feet will help you be more stable. If you're still a little bit wobbly, take that front foot even wider out to the side, even turn it out at an angle. So here you are down in what I call proposal pose. All your weight's on the back knee. Theoretically, you can pick the front foot up. You're down on one knee. Again, with a big inhale, all the way up. And exhale, press your breath out, pull your belly in. Let's do it again. Inhale, lift up. And all of a sudden, your attention flew up. But now please press that back foot down hard. And as you exhale, pull that tummy in harder. I'm working that back foot, pushing down hard. Now, toes can be curled under or top of the foot flat. Doesn't matter. I'm not even showing you mine. But you're working that back foot. Big inhale, arms up. And as you Exhale, work that back foot hard. Now this is your right leg. You're going to put that right hand on your lap. Left arm comes up again. Leave it up in the air. And as you exhale, work that back foot and drive your hips forward into this lunge. Keep pushing that back foot. Work that back foot. Nice side stretch here. Coming on over. Now elbow might be on your lap or the hand can find your block. For a big side stretch, keep pushing that back foot hard. And you relax your front toes. All right, find that tummy. And imagine somebody coming along to tickle you in this pose. Inhale. And as you exhale, pull that tummy and rock back on the front heel. And you're going to reach diagonal across. Running your hand down the outside of the leg, maybe coming all the way down to the toes. Left hand. This is my right hand on a block. Big side stretch. Pushing that back foot hard. Pulling your tummy in tight. And release. Shuffle switch. Try it with no hands. I dare you. I challenge you. Switching sides. Left foot forward. Blocks ready to catch you. Measuring out that basic lunge. Toe sticking out past your knee. Maybe wiggling the foot wide out to the side, turning it out at an angle. Again, I'm not showing you the back foot, but it's doing something. Either the top of the foot's pushing down or you're pushing through the heel as if you're trying to pick that back knee up. And then back it up. Come into that proposal pose. Find your balance. Work the back foot. If this is your left thigh, left hand's on your lap, right arm comes in the air. Big inhale. And as you exhale, pull your tummy in tight. Resume that lunge and add in a side bend. Elbow can be on your lap or hand can find the block. Big side stretch. Work that back foot. Inhale. And exhale, pull that tummy in. Round the side body down as if fending off that tickle monster. Rock back on your heel, running your hand down the outside of the leg, maybe finding the pinky toe side of your foot. And breathe. Notice that the more you tuck in your front ribs, the more you pull in that tummy, the more stretch you feel in your back. And release. All right, once again, you get to shuffle switch sides. I'm going to go sideways. You got your right foot forward. Nice long lunge. Back toes, you're going to curl them under for a split second. Press hard through that heel. Lift the back knee up and then swing that back knee in narrow. And set it back down so you feel the outer left kneecap touch down first. Rock back for a moment. Come into that proposal pose. Front foot can wiggle out to the side. Turn out at an angle. It might even wiggle off the side of your mat. Bring both hands to the inside arch side of that front foot and resume the lunge. People call this lizard lunge. And back toes are curled under or the top of the foot's flat. Doesn't matter which you've done, but you're working as if you're trying to lift the knee up. Back leg is active. Back knee will be down though. Driving your chest forward, maybe coming elbows down to blocks, elbows down to the floor. Something's happening there. Back leg still working. Front foot might even wiggle even wider off the side of the mat. Toes turn out at an angle. You want the kneecap and the toes pointing in the same direction. And across the front edge of your mat, you can line up elbow, elbow, heel, or hand, hand, heel. So this foot is forward, in line with your hands. It's in line with your elbows. If this is your right foot, start to shift weight towards your left elbow so that your right hand is free. And then take that right arm around a few times. Now, the trick to this one is that back foot. You're still working that back foot. You're keeping that back knee narrow. You're feeling the outer edge of your back knee come into more and more contact with the floor. You're rolling to the pinky toe side of that back foot. You're rolling towards the stripe on the outside of your pant leg. And yeah, you're just circling your arm around here. But you'll notice the more you circle that arm around, the more you can roll onto the outer left hip pocket. Dump the pocket change out of your left hip pocket. Circling around. And then just for fun, circle around the other way. One of those circles helps you twist and side bend more. And one of the directions of the circle, not so much. So figure out which way works best for you to circle around and around, because eventually you're going to circle and roll over onto your left elbow, onto the outer left hip pocket, over to the left pinky toe side of the foot, so that you can reach back and maybe find a foot. And breathe. And release. Let's back up. Just a simple stretch here. I've got my hands out here. I've even got a block. I've got 2 blocks. I can push those blocks forward as I back my hips up. This is nicer with blocks. If you do have blocks, use them. Don't be shy. Put them underneath your hands and tip the leading edges of the block away as you back your hips up. Now for balance, you might work that back foot. Work that back foot to give yourself a little better balance. And nice hamstring stretch there. Release. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So I am not constrained by my mat. I wander off my mat all the time. So don't be shy. Get off the reservation. Nice basic lunge, turning into a lizard lunge. Inch that front foot forward so the toe sticks out further than any other point on your body. Turn that front foot out at an angle. You're going to drive your chest forward, working that back foot as if you're trying to lift that back knee off the ground. Riding your chest forward, coming into that lizard lunge. Lining up elbow, elbow, heel. Again, that front foot can really wiggle wide off to the side. Elbow, elbow, heel, hand, hand, heel, across the front edge of your mat. And if this is your left foot in front, you're going to start shifting your weight over to that right elbow. So your left hand is free. And then playing around with those arm circles. Experiment with circling one way and then circling the other. Again, as you're doing that, that back knee is tucked in narrow. You might even pick it up and reset it so that you're dumping the pocket change out of that right hip pocket. You're coming onto the stripe on the outside of your pant leg. The more change you dump out of that right hip pocket, the more twist you'll get here. Arm circling helps. Don't be stingy on those arm circles. Circle one way or the other. Figure out which direction of circle gives you the best twist. Because eventually you get enough arm circling, enough rolling over onto your right hip that you can reach back and grab a hold of that right foot and breathe. And unwind. And back it up. Notice I'm not really moving the foot. I'm just rocking back on that front heel. Still have a pretty wide stride, front to back and side to side. Got a couple of blocks here. Walking those blocks forward as I back my hips up. tipping the leading edge of the blocks away for a more side stretch. Now to stabilize yourself, work that right foot, pushing that right foot down or back. Work that right foot for stability. Nice deep hamstring stretch, breathing. And then bail out. Let's transition into a nice wide-legged forward fold. I recommend orienting yourself so that when you glance up, you can see the screen. Feet nice and wide. Notice I got my blocks. I recommend you have yours too. Toes in, heels out. Nice forward fold. You're going to bring your elbows down onto blocks, or maybe elbows come all the way down to the floor. Toes in, heels out. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. And breathe. Knees are unlocked. Toes are turned in. Heels are pressing wide. Try stretching the mat between your feet, like you're pressing your heels wide, and because they're on a sticky mat, they don't actually go anywhere. But spread those heels without actually going anywhere. Press those heels wide and feel those sit bones blossom. Head down, booty up. Keeping your knees unlocked, pressing those heels wide, feeling those sit bones spread. Keep those knees unlocked. Start to straighten your arms. Now finding those blocks. Taking those blocks out in front of you. Keep those heels spreading, those sit bones back and apart as you tip the leading edges of the blocks away from you. Knees unlocked, toes turned in, pinky toes flare. So wiggle those pinkies. Heels wide, sit bones wide, pressing those blocks out in front of you, tipping the leading edge of the blocks away. Find your front ribs. They're probably sagging towards the ground. So find those front ribs and pull them up into your body. Find those front ribs and pull them up into your body. No saggy chest. Nobody wants that. Keeping this length in your side body, depending on where your yoga mats are. If you do have more than one, that's nice. You do want both feet on the same yoga mat so that you can continue to spread those heels. If you have a second yoga mat, you can transfer your hands down onto that yoga mat and press the yoga mat away, just like we did for our child's pose. So pressing the yoga mat away as you drag your hips back, keep those knees unlocked, keep spreading those heels and feel, ooh, a big stretch on your backside. If you don't have a second yoga mat to grab a hold of, keep working it with the blocks. Hips are back. And then everybody crawl your hands back underneath your shoulders. Find a nice flat back. Even come up onto fingertips. Knees are unlocked. And again, I recommend having that screen in front of you so you can see what's going on. Pull in your front ribs, pull in your belly, knees unlocked. Activate those front ribs, pull in that tummy, even pull in that pelvic floor. Like you gotta pee, pull it in. Left hand comes directly beneath your nose. So if you had a runny nose, your finger would be in the puddle. Right hand, inhale, up and open. Big twist. And exhale. Right hand replaces left. Inhale, up and open. Big twist. And exhale. Let's repeat a few more times. Big inhale, up and open. Big rotational twist. And exhale. This is not about being low. This is about getting up off the ground. So you're coming up onto fingertips. And exhale. Once more each side. Open, open, open. And exhale. And inhale, open, open, open. Big stretch. I want you to see my top hand here. It's like I'm high-fiving somebody. And when you high-five somebody, you can see your hand smack their hand. So this top hand's going to move forward in front of you. And they're going to push against an imaginary friend. You're going to keep your knees unlocked and continue to spread through those heels. You're going to keep that front rib and belly pulled in tight, taking weight out of that bottom hand. If you dare, high-fiving that imaginary friend, rotate your chest a little bit more. And if all that made sense, you take this top hand, flip it. So the palm is facing behind you and wrap it around the small of your back. Maybe even tuck your fingers into that waistband and shrug that top shoulder onto your back even more. Front ribs and belly pulled in, knees unlocked, heels are spreading. Tummy engaged, bottom hand weighs nothing. Big twist. Now where's your head? It's an extension of your spine. Make sure it's not falling off. Put it in line with your spine. Big twist. And unwind. Let's do the other side. The left hand replaces the right. Inhale, up, up, and away. And that's what you want to do. You want to get up, up, and away off the ground. Now, same thing. High five that imaginary friend. Pull in your tummy. Lift all the weight out of that bottom hand. Get maximum twist to happen. And then the back of your hand goes around the small of your back, and those fingertips tuck into your waistband and help you shrug that top shoulder even further around on your back. Knees unlocked, heels spread, sit bones wide, belly pulled in. Head in line with your spine. Big twist. And unwind. Knees bent. Hands transfer up onto your lap. Belly pulls in as you come all the way up to standing. Step your legs together. Shake a leg or two. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, feet go wide. Feet nice and wide. Toes turn out to the sides. Ankles underneath your wrists. So got a wide stride here between your feet. Big inhale, arms come all the way up. Palms shine forward as you exhale. Pull down on that lat pull down bar. Activate some of these side rib chest muscles. Pulling down, expand and open up your chest. And inhale, open. And as you exhale, it's like a grand plie or horse stance. Your knees bend. And inhale up. I always feel like it looks like a wacky wall walker, but for some reason they call this goddess pose. Big inhale all the way up. And again, as you exhale, pull down. Chest is lifting. Clasp your hands together behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Let those thumbs skid down. Thumbs skid down your tailbone. Pull in your front ribs and belly. Still here in this squat. Knees are swinging wide. Might even be able to pick up your big toes. Feet are turned out to the sides. Pick up your big toes. Tucking that tailbone. Squatting down a little bit lower. And then for relief, you're going to come on up, turn those toes in. What a relief. And hinge forward. Forward fold. Knees are still unlocked. Heels are still spreading wide on this one. Toes in, heels out. Heels spread wide. Nice deep forward fold. Hands are clasped together. Elbows pulling away from your back. Hands come to your hips. Hands slide onto your lap. That means you got to bend your knees to make a lap. And exhale, pull your tummy in, round your back, walking your hands up your lap as you inhale, come all the way up to standing. And once again, you get to step your feet together. Shake out your legs. Maybe even shake out your wrists too. All right, wide feet once again. Toes turned out. Ankles underneath wrists. Make sure you got a nice wide stride between your feet. Big inhale all the way up. Exhale. Good. Be able to pick up your big toes. Hands come onto your lap. Fingers can be in, fingers can be out. You can be on fists. I don't care. Keep your elbows unlocked. You're going to turn and look over your right shoulder. Dump that left shoulder forward. Keep pushing your knees apart. Hips drop down lower. This is my Jane Fonda twist. Looking over your right shoulder. Letting your left shoulder dump forward. Both elbows are bent. And inhale to center. And exhale. Jane Fonda twist to the other side. And inhale up. And exhale, twist. And inhale, center. And exhale, twist. Once more on each side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. And inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Come all the way on up. And the heel toe wiggle your feet closer together. All right. Big inhale, arms come all the way up. And as you exhale, let those arms swing. Just good shoulder shrugs, shrugging and swinging. You're going to be coming into eagle arms. And so for eagle arms, you're going to cross that right arm on top. Not the wrong one, the right one. Cross that right arm on top. Give yourself a big hug. And drop those shoulders away from your ears. Fingers are below your armpits. You're going to wrap up nice and tight. Shoulders down away from your ears. Fingers below your armpits. Try getting your elbows to cross in front. And if they do cross, good job. You can thumbs up with that bottom hand. Wrap the top arm around it and go for your eagle arms. If your fingers don't quite catch, you can use your belt to help span that gap. Keep on breathing. So these are eagle arms. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. You can tick-tock your head side to side. Oh, maybe even yawn. And release. Let them swing. And start crossing that left arm on top. And wrap it up. Shoulders down away from your ears, fingers down below your armpits. Breathing. Breathing into those back ribs, breathing into your spine. Stay here, loving on yourself, or tangle it up. Eagle arms. So for full eagle pose, eagle legs are the mirror image of the eagle arms. And release. All right. Shift your weight over onto that right foot. You're going to lift that left knee up and cross it over, tangling your legs. So knees are bent, just like both elbows are bent, both knees are bent. Toes can tuck behind your calf. Both knees are bent, toes tucking behind your calf. Balancing. And spread out your wings here and balance. If you don't have the greatest balance, just put your big toe on the ground. Otherwise, you're going to let the arms be your mirror image of the legs. So which means the left arm goes on the bottom. And you balance as best you can. Pull in your front ribs, pull in your belly. Maybe sit down a little bit lower. Breathing along that spine. And inhale, open. And we'll do the same on the other side. So now you're going to stand on that left leg, cross the right leg over, tucking toes behind calf, squeezing your legs together, pulling in that pelvic floor. Arms are a mirror image of the legs. So if this is your right leg on top, the right arm goes on the bottom, and you wrap it up. Nice deep breaths. Keep breathing. Keep that oxygen getting to your brain. And release. Take a split second here to clear the deck. Yes, we're going to transition from that eagle pose into humble warrior. So bring yourself to the front edge of your mat. Stand on that right leg, cross that left leg over. Arms a mirror image of the legs. Balancing. Breathing. Sitting down a little bit lower. Begin to hinge forward, bringing elbows down towards knees. Feel that lovely spread between your shoulders. Both knees are bent. And whichever leg you got on top, you're going to take that leg and reach back with it. Standing knee is still bent. Reach back with it. Touch down. Now for better balance, you can hop that back foot wider. Or you could turn the front foot out to the side, wiggle the front foot wider, and you're going to bow forward on the inside of that leg. Oh, and breathe. Feel that lovely stretch in your back body. Back ribs, breathing along your spine. Elbows sagging down towards the floor. Front foot can really wiggle out wide. Front toes can turn out at an angle. And then finally, unwind. And you get to step forward. Whew, and come on up. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Got to figure out which side's the other side. So you're going to be standing on that left foot. Right leg crosses over. Arms a mirror image of the legs. Tangle it up. Breathing. Tummy nice and strong. Shoulders are down away from your ears. You can even press your elbows forward to begin to bow forward. Starting to look down, glance down. You know what's coming up next. Breathing, feeling that lovely space in your back body. And then untangling your legs and reaching back, going long. Maybe hopping that back foot wider or wiggling the front foot wider, turning the front toes out to the side. Continue to press those elbows forward, down towards the ground. Humble warrior, bowing, bowing, bowing. Inch that front foot forward out to the side. Make sure the toes, the front toes, are sticking out past the knee. And keep melting. Maybe eventually elbows come all the way down to the floor. And unwind. Find yourself. Rearrange yourself into that wide-legged forward fold. Cross-street Padottanasana once again. Maybe elbows come onto blocks. Maybe elbows come all the way down to the floor. Toes are in, heels are out. Head down, booty up. Keep on breathing. Straightening up your arms. Bending your knees, maybe heel toeing your feet in a little bit more narrow. I'm taking my feet in all the way in, narrow like my mat. Sliding elbows up onto my lap. Taking a few moments here. Before you stand up, find your blocks. And get those blocks, park them right out in front of you. One block for each hand. Bring those feet in narrow, so you have one foot on either edge of the mat. Hands on blocks. As you swish and sway and pivot, the little infinity symbol with those hips. Shift your weight side to side. Swish and sway. Unstick feet. You might pivot on your heels, or some of you might be pivoting on the balls of your feet. Unstick your feet. Let those feet pivot. Whatever way of pivoting works for you. Hands on blocks, hands on the coffee table, hands on the chair. You do want your hands on something off the floor so you can get lots of movement in those hips. And you do want your feet apart from each other. One on either side, the narrow width of your mat, at least. Now this might be feeling really good in those outer hips, and you might just want to hang out here. If you're feeling quite warm and strong, I got something else for you to try. So if this is just a lovely hip stretch for you and this is feeling great, stay here. Otherwise, bend your knees, transfer your hands up onto your lap. You're going to come all the way on up. Now you do want those blocks on high, or that chair or the coffee table out in front of you. I'm going to be reaching for it in a moment. Shifting that weight over onto your left foot, you're going to bring that right knee up. Flex the right foot and cross it into your lap. So ankle bone is on the thigh above the knee. Ankle bone can go into that groove near the kneecap, or ankle bone to the outside of the thigh bone, just so it doesn't hurt. Knee is turned out to the side. Standing knee is soft. Begin to bow forward, reaching down for that blocks, coffee table, what have you. Feeling that lovely hip stretch. Challenging yourself to balance. Now I don't like this one. My balance isn't that great. I've had hip replacement issues. You're still here, pivoting side to side. You're still getting that hip stretch. You're working it out. But if you have that foot crossed up into your lap, hands can find the block, you might play around with swishing those hips a bit. Breathing. Your foot is flexed flat, you might find that you're able to kind of hook it with your elbow. Hook it with your forearm. Now, please hold on to something for balance. But if you can put the arch of your foot into the crook of your elbow, you can begin to push your foot into your elbow, push your elbow into your foot hard. Get even more hip stretch. And breathe. Maybe sit down a little bit lower. And breathe. And if this is all working good for you, foot pushing into hand, hand pushing into foot, and you're starting to find your balance, you can turn this into a balance pose. Letting go of the blocks. And then you get to come out of that one and release. And you might come up to standing for just a moment and maybe wiggle and jiggle a little bit. That's an intense hip thing, in case you hadn't noticed. Again, if you've had hip replacement issues, knee issues, if you don't have all your factory issued parts, you got some replacement parts, you might not want to go there. Again, the alternative is this swishing and swaying thing, which is lovely. Otherwise, I'm going to do the other side. Standing on the other leg, bringing that other leg up, flexing the foot, crossing it into your lap, getting that ankle bone in the groove near the kneecap or to the outside of the thigh bone. Standing knee stays unlocked the whole time, bowing forward. Using those blocks, don't be shy. Breathing. Maybe eventually you can bow far enough forward that you can put that arch of the foot into the crook of your elbow. And then if you do get the foot, arch of the foot into the crook of the elbow, you can push your foot hard into your arm, shove your arm hard into your foot for added foot hip stretch. Don't be shy about wiggling around. Pushing that foot hard into your arm, shoving your arm hard into your foot helps you find your balance. And you can turn this into a pure balance pose, letting go of those blocks altogether. And then bail out. Let's come on down. Hop a squat. Oh, what a relief a squat is, right? Feet wide. Hands coming to the inside. Palms together. Elbows push out. Knees squeeze in. Nice deep breaths. Nice long, elegant neck. Now the my knees don't bend in squat alternative. So take those two blocks in what I call butt cheek configuration, one for each butt cheek. Sit upon them and come into your butterfly pose. So if squatting doesn't work for you, you're doing your butterfly pose. Everybody's shoulders are down. Everybody's got a nice, long, elegant neck. And everybody's working their chest forward. If you're still hanging out in the squat, you're pulling your chest forward. Nice, long neck. Breathing. If you haven't already, get those blocks and again, arrange them in that butt cheek configuration, one for each butt cheek, and everybody's going to have a seat. Let's come into crisscross applesauce. Lift and separate, pull the flesh away from your sit bones, butt walk to the front edge of your blocks. So you can sit up nice and tall. Ideally, your hip bones are higher than your knee bones. If your knee bones are flying up higher than your hip bones, you need to sit on more stuff. You might need to put your pillow on top of your blocks or sit on 4 blocks stacked up. Good shoulder shrug. Inhale up, back and down. Inhale, take arms up and overhead, grab a hold of that lat pull down bar. And as you exhale, lift your chest up. Engage some of those back muscles, pulling those shoulder blades down. Good. Inhale, arms up again. Hands come together. And as you exhale, pull down. Push your palms into one another and feel those back shoulder blades broaden across your back. Chest muscles engage. Inhale again. And as you exhale, pull down. Tuck in your front ribs, pulling your belly. Pull up on that pelvic floor. One more time. Big inhale all the way up. And as you exhale, pull down. So bringing our attention in towards that spine. Sitting up nice and tall. Core muscular engaged so you can sit up nice and tall. This is your left hand. It comes diagonal across and twist. I think of the stripes on a barbershop pole, or the stripes on a candy cane. It's a straight stick, but it spirals up. So twist up. Resist the temptation to back bend. So tuck in your front ribs, again, lean back a little bit. So there is a fullness in those back ribs. Breath in those back ribs. Breath along your spine. And on one. Inhale to center. Exhale, pull in. Inner awareness, finding that central column through your body. A little bit of ab control here. Right hand comes diagonal across for that twist. It's not about grabbing hold and yanking yourself around. It's twisting from the inside out. There is a fullness, a softness, a puffiness in those back ribs. And unwind. Inhale to center. And exhale down. Now, just to make you even, let's recross, put the other leg in front. It doesn't matter which. Just do the others. Cross of the legs. And let's repeat. Inhale up. Can you promise to exhale, twist, and turn, looking over that right shoulder? Relax your butt. In fact, relax both sets of cheeks. Relax your face and relax your butt. Might even wiggle your jaw and yawn. Inhale to center. And exhale, twist the other way. So that's the internal rotation, turning from the inside out. Relax your face, wiggle your jaw, yawn. And unwind. All right, my friends, time flies when you're having fun. We're going to make our way down to the ground. Consider having a pillow for your head. Take your feet as wide apart as the mat, 1 foot on either side of the mat. Do a little windshield wiping move, a couple times, side to side. Just to kind of walk your hips away from your shoulders. Get long through your torso. Really spread your back body out on the ground. And you can bring your knees into your chest and continue to wiggle those hips away from your shoulders, spreading out your lower back. Eventually you get to set your feet back down. And stretch full out, flat out, if that works for you. If flat out, full out, flat out doesn't work for you, you do half Shavasana. Find a happy place. Take up space. Settle in. And just observe all the changes in your body.